ago. Actually, he put this pairing together.
He did.
And it turned out to be fantastic. So
well, I appreciate it.
He knows who he is, and
yep.
we do appreciate that. So,
yep.
And off we go. If the Aggies win this game, they will be the 3 seed in the upcoming Mountain West Conference tournament in Las Vegas. Three-pointer on the way, and the Aggies are on the board. And a good start is Dayton Albury, who incidentally, Gary, he is a senior, along with Drake Allen, but they won't be honored today because they actually still have another year of eligibility, and the Aggies certainly hope that they'll be back.
Absolutely. I would take them back in a heartbeat.
They'd be a pretty good team next year with the group that are coming back. They're going to lose some quality seniors, but a good bunch coming back for Jared Calhoun, and along with whoever else he's able to add. Three-pointer on the way outside, and that's up and in for Luke Kearney.
Well, on that first play for the Aggies, the one thing that I really appreciate is they're willing to go into the post, into Gatoretsy, and then feed the ball outside. I think that for the Aggies, sometimes their offense becomes stagnant because they're unwilling to go to the block and then go outside. But that's coming from the post because so I'm biased.
Little collision in the post, by the way, right there. Luke Kearney that hit that three. One thing that Air Force does well, despite their record, is they shoot a lot of threes. So 39% of their scoring, almost 40% comes from three-point shots.
Well, and I think they're probably a little bit undersized, so they have to rely a lot on the three and run plays to get that option for them.
Lob to Gatoretsy. Senior to senior.
And that's just another instance of them Aggies looking for their post presence to establish that early in the game. I think that's a good approach even throughout as they head into the Mountain West tournament, just to kind of give themselves a new look.
Air Force does have a 7-footer, though. Number 51, you see him on the floor there, Wesley Silahusky from Georgetown, Indiana. He's a 7-foot, 245-pound sophomore. Shot clock down to 2-1, another three up, and this one will not go, but an offensive rebound, and another three launched by, this time, Ethan Taylor, and that doesn't go. Mason Falslev right to the rack.
Gave that defender a little Euro step, be able to bring the ball around. Mason's so dangerous as he gets into the paint. He has great body control, great ball control. He finishes with great accuracy down there.
You played against the Air Force, I would assume, or did you?
I never had the opportunity. So we were in the old Western Athletic Conference, which is also a lot of the Mountain West today, but Air Force wasn't a part of that.
It's interesting because, they're on the court, they're basketball players, you want to beat them, but these are young men that are eventually going to be defending our freedoms, right?
That's absolutely right. When they come out, I have nothing but cheers for them. I'm ecstatic.
So with the foul, the Aggies take the ball out of bounds, already leading 7-3. Senior Day festivities will actually be held after the game, probably because of the 2 p.m. start.
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever seen anything like that.
Yeah. Lob, Gatoretsy again.
And I like the Aggies are running Gatoretsy out of that high ball screen. That's causing some problems for Air Force because they're going to have to help on Mason because if he gets to that right hand of the paint like we talked about, he can finish. But that leaves Gatoretsy open on the roll. Air Force has got to have the help side on that to prevent him from being able to get that lob.
Yeah, so far he's had his way twice on that play. And the 7-footer kicks the ball back out. Chase Beasley had it, but it's a shot clock violation. The Aggie defense has toughened up as Drake Allen and Carson Templin will now check into the game. And going to the bench is Ian Martinez and Gatoretsy, two of the seniors. Aggies are really kind of struggling in their last couple of games. They've lost, as you see, Dayton Albury score there. They lost to both San Jose State, Boise State and Colorado State. And they weren't close, Gary. Right. They were rough games. So they need something something positive, some momentum going into the Mountain West Conference tournament next week.
Yeah, and I've talked to a few people around Logan that were kind of wondering about that skid, and I said, it's way too far back for people to remember, but we were 19th in the country when a skid like that where we lost to Nevada and St. Mary's and one other team. And I don't get too up in arms with skids like that just because it's the nature of the beast with basketball. And I think the Aggies, as long as they're poised, this Mountain West tournament, among ones that I've seen in the past, it's up for grabs.
Absolutely.
There's so many talented teams. I don't think a 1 seed ensures you of anything going into that tournament. A 1 seed, a 2 seed, a 3 seed, or a 4 seed, 5 seed. There's just so many good teams.
Aggies on an 8-0 run. And Air Force, how about this, Gary? Their last 6 possessions, the shot clock has gone below 10 seconds on every one of them. That's how good this Aggie team's playing defense.
Well, and I was watching them in warm-ups working on their defensive schemes, and it seemed like everyone on the Aggies was pretty locked into what their assignment was.
Well, as I said, those 2 tough losses, Colorado State and Boise State, I'm sure there was a lot of extra practice time as Mason Falslev goes for the layup, or at least a focus on, things that went wrong in those 2 games because they were rough.
Yeah.
Now a 10-0 run for the Aggies. Three-pointer, and that one won't go, and the Aggie run continues. And Air Force actually a 34% free three-point shooting team as a group, but they've been falling on the other side, and Dexter Acano delivers.
And that's what's going to be tough for the Falcons is if the three-point shot's not falling, notwithstanding the fact that they shoot so many, the zone is designed to not let you get into the interior, so that's going to be real difficult.
16-3 is the Aggie lead. They are rolling on senior day. You saw the 3 seniors right there that will be honored later on. Aggies with a hefty lead. There's the Herd, and they are a great group. A lot of fans here today. I mentioned that spring break does start. They're off all next week, so theoretically after class yesterday they could have left town. And it's a little less crowded than normally. The section right behind you and I is full all the way to the top. But it's still just such a great atmosphere.
Yeah, the turnout this year consistently for the Aggies has been phenomenal. These fans and fan base changes games for Aggies playing in the Spectrum.
No doubt. I mean, they're 14-5 in league play, and they have lost 2 straight, 3 of the last 5. But on the season, they're 14-2 at home. That's how tough it is to play in this building. And again, the shot clock inside 10 seconds. They've done this on all 8 of their possessions, and with 1 second on the clock, Will Cooper gets the bucket.
But that's what Air Force has to do. They have to be able to get into the lane and make those shorten their shot attempts because the threes aren't falling right now, and they need to get some points on the board.
Yeah, when you live on that, 40% of your scoring generally comes from threes. But no problem for Ian Martinez, and he hits another 3 for the Aggies.
The thing about Ian is his facial expressions pretty much never change. He, from the beginning the game starts to when he's playing, he's pretty locked in and solid. I was watching him in warm-ups. Some of the Aggies were out there dancing with the music was playing, and Ian was just locked in, focused. So
not messing around.
No, he's like that from the minute he gets on the court to when he steps off.
Aggies now 3 of 4 from three-point range. Tucker Anderson has checked into the game, number 2. And Jordy Barnes, by the way, congratulations to Jordy's dad, Matt Barnes, who led Olympus High School to another state championship last Friday game that we got to broadcast here on KMYU locally. And Jordy comes in, and he hits a 3.
Is that back-to-back for Matt? Back-to-back state champions?
Yes, it is. He's the defending state champion, and Jordy was on the team last year that won the state title.
And then Jordy, he comes out and shoots a 3. That is the next step in his game, being willing to take open shots. So I'm glad to see that he's willing to do that and knock it down to help then come up with a steal.
Good week for the Barnes household. Here comes Martinez. And the mop-up. Oh, and Anderson not able to get it to go, but there is a foul right there. Barnes' three-point shooting has improved dramatically since, well, probably the first 8 or 9 games that we did.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, too, coming in as a freshman, he's getting great minutes, but then you get a little tentative to know what you can and can't do. And, you know, it's not the MO of coaches to sit down and walk you through every opportunity that they're going to give you. You just got to have to take it and then see what happens.
Well, one byproduct about him being bashful in terms of shooting threes is he was able to raise his average quickly.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he hadn't put up that many
right.
of them.
You want to shoot better, shoot less.
Right. So he's already up to over 30%.
Yeah. Well, he can shoot it, and he's definitely a talented basketball player. He's got a bright future.
Talk about a scoring run. The Aggies have scored on 10 of their 11 possessions, and the Air Force has scored on 3 of their 11 possessions, and they just hit a 3 that they desperately needed.
Well, and I think the Aggies, at least with this game, are continuing their willingness to share the basketball. Their assist to makes is pretty high at this point.
Templin. Allen drives, gets the hoop. Drake Allen, the transfer from UVU, played high school ball locally here at Westlake High School. Shot clock down to 2. 1 turnover. Barnes has it. Again, the Aggies have forced them into using the entire shot clock. Another 3 for Barnes. He can't get that one to fall. But he's 50% today.
That's right. I love that. I love that he's willing to take that shot. That's what he needs to do. He needs to come out, be aggressive, take shots, miss some shots, and just learn to play through it. That's going to be helpful for him.
This Air Force team, by the way, Gary, has 10 freshmen on its roster. You won't see many of them today, but 10 on their roster, which is number 1 in the nation for youth. 3-pointer corner, got it. Another one for Will Cooper.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Despite how this season's gone for Air Force, they have a really bright future. I mean, like you mentioned, they do have a young team. They're getting a lot of experience in a very difficult league. So I think they should just take this for what it is and build off that and look for a brighter future as the season as it continues for them.
They have 11 points right now, and Cooper's got the last 8. Here goes Barnes right into the tall timber, not able to get it to go as Caleb Walker, 6'9", out of Jefferson City, Missouri, got in his way. I'm guessing the 6'9", the 7-footers probably won't be fighter pilots. Not sure you would fit in those. A number of these guys, you and I were talking before the game, 4 of their 5 starters, their next assignment post-graduation will be in the Space Force. That is phenomenal. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to have for lunch next week, but they're already getting ready for the Space Force.
Yeah.
Good for them. We were talking about, as you look at the Aggie fan section, the postgraduate plans for these Air Force Academy Falcons, and it's impressive. We were talking about 5 of the guys that are here today will all be in the Space Force, 4 of the 5 starters, and that's a cool thing.
Oh, my goodness.
It was just established about 5 or 6 years ago, I want to say, and it basically, this is how far we've come. It protects America's interest in space. Outer space.
And I was talking to my son about this because he's thinking about he wants to become an Air Force pilot, which I think is an amazing goal. And I just said, look at what plans you have after college. I didn't have a clue what after. I play professional basketball, but
Right.
If I could say, hey, I'm going into Space Force, I mean, that's a pretty good thing to put on your resume that you've accomplished, that you've experienced. So I think these kids are so smart for to have the opportunity to play college basketball and then to serve our country and do these things for the military is something I find so impressive.
The other thing I found interesting, too, is they list in their roster the current squadrons that they're all in. And, for instance, Will Cooper, who's scored a bunch in this game, is in the 38 All-Stars squadron, as Ian Martinez puts up a three, and he gets a friendly Aggie bounce, and in it goes.
Yeah, I mean, that's talking about teams. I mean, that's probably they understand what being a team is, being a part of squadrons,
absolutely.
And understanding that. They understand the team concept.
Discipline, things like that.
Everything that's you need to be successful in and out of basketball and life.
Here we go again. Shot clock inside 5. Three-pointer on the way, and that won't go. That was shot with 2 seconds on the shot clock. The entire game has been that way, Gary.
Yeah, and I think that because Falcons haven't had the opportunity to score in transition, so they have to play from a half-court set. This zone is designed to slow everything down, and so if you're not shooting, you're going to be moving deep into the shot clock to try to put points on the board.
Mason Falslev gets that one to fall. Also checking in, Isaac Johnson, 7-footer out of American Fork High School. The Oregon transfer. He's just a junior. He'll be back. I guess nowadays you should never say who will be back because of the portal, but you would assume.
Yeah.
I think he's enjoyed it here. His sister plays for the women's team. And his dad and his grandfather both played for Utah State.
A good pedigree, legacy. The Air Force seems to be sticking to one side of the court here. In the zone, you have to get the ball from one side to the next and make the zone move. Eventually, that puts players out of position.
And here we go again. 1 second on the clock. That's a shot clock. Well, not a shot clock violation. He just barely got off, and they get an offensive rebound. And in the post, there's going to be a foul on Isaac Johnson trying to defend 6'9" Caleb Walker. Caleb's a young man with an Air Force history. His dad, Steve, played football for Air Force. And year in and year out, Air Force, they always have a fairly competitive football team.
The option.
Yep. Seems to be what all the military, Air Force, Navy, Army, what they all run. Shot clock at 6. Three-pointer is short. Here comes Martinez. And Martinez will launch. And a little short on that three.
You can always see when Ian's ready to take a shot in transition. He has a little bounce in his step.
Oh, my.
Well,
Cooper ran into a wall in the form of Isaac Johnson. Now he's come in and he's got 2 quick fouls.
Well, and I'm really impressed with Isaac on that play. I think that was very disciplined defense. Just went straight up. It's the contact that created the block, and I would even say there wasn't much contact there. So Isaac can keep that up on his post-present defense. Is going to look good for the Aggies moving forward.
Back here in Logan, good crowd on hand for a Saturday afternoon. Aggies up 31-12. The shot selection for Air Force is, I guess it goes along with the fact that they do shoot a lot of threes, but it's been interesting, Gary.
Yeah, I mean, they've shot 12 shots this half. 11 of them have been threes. And so they've shot 1 2-pointer, and when the shots aren't falling like that, you need to get in the key like we were talking about and get around the basket to put some points on the board.
So Will Cooper attempted to do that when he drove right into Isaac Johnson. As a result, Cooper is shooting free throws, and he's a 78% free throw shooter, part of the 38 All-Stars squadron for Air Force. Free throw's good. He's now scored 10 of the last 11 Air Force points coming off the bench. 6'6" freshman out of Omaha. And I mentioned all the freshmen on this roster, or they're not all here, but 10 total freshmen on the Air Force roster.
Yeah, and I mean that's gonna create some mistakes for this team as they've had to move there through rotation. And just getting some experience against this very, very good Aggie defense that is disciplined and is making them stay on one side of the court, taking shots late into the shot clock and settle for threes that they may have not normally taken.
And they do start 3 seniors, but as soon as they go to the bench, Gary, they're all freshmen or sophomores. Turnover. It's going the other way. And that shot clock ran all the way down to 4 before they lost the ball.
Yeah, and that's just trying to get into the paint, maybe get it down to your post, even if the post isn't scoring, to kick it back out to try to keep this defense honest, because the Aggies are just sitting heavy on that three-point line.
Gatorezzi back into the game, trying to post up, and another lob. He's got 3 lobs tonight.
Well, and that's an excellent play by Mason. The court awareness to spin, to jump, and then just not to let the shot fly, but recognize his teammates wide open and just put it in the place that Aubin can finish easily.
Sure has been nice having him on this team this season. 6'11". He's a defensive presence and even offense. He's developed that they're going to miss next year. Oh, that ball landed right into the hands of Caleb Walker, who hammered it home. He looked like you on that dunk.
Yeah. No, you got way higher than I ever could. I probably just laid that up.
We were talking about most of the posters of you in this building. You're dunking.
Yeah. You know, there was a day that I could actually jump off the floor.
Oh, my.
But,
well, when we were back in the day doing nightly sportscasts at Aggie Highlights, we always looked for Gary Wilkinson dunks.
That's kind of you.
And there were a lot of them. 36-16 after the Mason Falslev 3. Shot clock again down to 3, 2, and it's turnover. Falslev's got it, and Mason with the finish. Mason Falslev, the sophomore.
And once again, Drake Allen coming right open for a while.
He's pretty good too.
Yeah,
though.
he's all right.
Yeah, he came through the Jazz.
Yeah,
for a while, for a minute,
and knocking down that 3.
Yeah, 7 of 11 now on threes for the Aggies as a team. They appear to be taking out the frustration of last 2 losses on the Air Force Academy as Falslev rips that ball away, throws the lob. Oh, and Allen just barely shorts it.
Mason comes up with some basketballs that he has no business coming up with. His ability, and it probably goes back to those football days where he just has
like
those
an
strong mitts,
you
know?
Yep, you're exactly right. That's a tough shot running like that for Cooper, and here come the Aggies. But you're right, he's got great hands. And, boy, that ball came in hot.
Yeah,
Gatorezzi can't hang on.
Coach Morrill used to tell the guards to make the passes the bigs could catch. I think that was a great pass by O'Connell. It was a great look. But throwing the ball that fast to a big that close, it's a little difficult to catch. So.
Welcome back to that last play just for the timeout. First turnover of the game for the Aggies.
Well, I mean, they've been playing poised from the minute the ball tipped off. I mean, with respect to their defense, they've been locked in and disciplined, keeping Air Force to certain spots on the court, making it tough for them to score. And then on the offensive end, they've just been in transition and been playing great team basketball.
That's the Jared Calhoun way, right?
Yeah, it's borne out that way for sure.
Should come as no surprise to you that this series, Aggies lead Air Force 14-0 in the Spectrum. Air Force has never won in this building.
I think there might be a few teams that could say that
Probably.
as well. This is a tough place.
But with that many games.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
But overall, the series, Utah State leads 28-7. So Air Force does have 7 wins in their own building, but never here. Conversely, on those turnovers, Air Force now, that was their 5th turnover in the last 7 possessions, and they've got 10 of them total. That's a lot for a half.
Well, they can't find their spots in that Aggie defense. I mean, Dayton Albury's kind of been in there. They're not really understanding where the Aggies are defensively, so they're making passes that they're used to making, but just not getting through.
Under 3 to play here in the half. Shot clock now at 10. And the three-pointer for Cooper is up and in. Cooper's having himself a game. 13 points now for Cooper, and he's got 3 threes.
Yeah, I mean, he came off the bench aggressive, open, knocked down that first one, and it seems like he's gotten a pretty good rhythm for this game.
More than double his average. 19 points for the Falcons, and he's got 13 of them. Jordy Barnes back into the game, along with Akano, and that three goes up and in, and Jordy's got to be loving that.
I think he might have had some words after that three went in, too.
Yeah, he was looking at that.
Hey, the swagger, always take a little bit of swagger.
Jordy gets a hand up, gets in the way of that shot, and ball's out of bounds, and it will go to the Aggies. I know Jordy, well, you know his dad played here.
Yep.
Obviously, and never met a three he didn't like.
So that was surprising to me when Jordy was reticent to take some threes. I'm like, I wonder if that gene passed on. Tonight it for sure has.
Absolutely. Martinez, he's got a three. You know, Isaac Johnson's dad and Jordy's dad were actually teammates here at Utah State way back in the day. Really happy for Matt, though, Barnes, guiding his Olympus High School team to another state championship last week. And he told us after this game, he said, you know, I like my team this year. I thought they were pretty good, but I didn't see us getting to the championship and winning it.
That's a feat, for
sure. It just shows you how good of a coach he is.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
I've been out of Salt Lake for too long. Is Olympus 6A?
No, they're 5A.
Okay.
But they beat a buddy of yours, Chris Jones. He coaches Highland.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the championship game, and they really struggled.
Highland.
So Chris Jones, former Ute, and spent some time up here.
He was my coach. He was an assistant when I was up here. I love Jonesy.
So he lost that game, that championship game. But
well, and I even remember watching Chris Jones at the University of Utah when he was playing under Majerus. So
speaking of which, I know it's the Aggie rival, but we got to throw a shout out to a good friend of ours, yours and mine, Alex Jensen, who's going to be the new head coach at the University of Utah as Isaac Davis checks in for the Aggies. Good for Alex, great guy. He's been in the NBA for a while. Took the Utes to that 1998 championship game.
Absolutely. I don't think even the Aggie fans could look at that and say, that's not a great hire.
Yeah, absolutely great one. Layup in the post, just what the Air Force needed as Byron Brown comes off the bench and gets that one. He'll be part of the two-deuce. He is part of the two-deuce squadron, but he's another one of those Space Force guys after graduation.
I can't even imagine the things that they're into, looking at. It would be amazing.
Allen, three, another one.
Well, and all of the Aggies are shooting so confidently tonight. I mean, I'm watching their release from Drake Allen, from Ian Martinez, from Jordy Barnes. All of them are just, their release is so confident. And I think Coach Calhoun wanted an offensive charge on that one. Jordy seemed to stay square and keep his hands back, and Air Force just kept coming. But you don't get them all, so that's okay.
50 points with 31 seconds to play in the half.
Yeah, the Aggies, they're able to put points on the board, and like I said, they're shooting so confidently. They're finding their teammates. They're passing the ball, sharing the ball, and making open shots. That makes for fun basketball on the Aggies' point of view.
I shouldn't even say this, and you'll hammer me for broadcast jinx, but obviously 50 points in the first half puts you on pace to go over 100, which the Aggies have done 4 times, including in our last broadcast when they put 105 on San Jose State and beat them 105-57.
Yeah, they clearly can do that. Yeah, when we were watching that San Jose State game, they just can put
unbelievable
on the board. They shared the ball so well.
They led by 50 at one point.
Yes, I remember that.
Crazy. They've hit their last 5 3-pointers, and 10 of them in the half, 10 of 14. You see Isaac Davis, number 23, the freshman out of Idaho Falls, into the game. And the Aggies will work down with the last shot. Shot clock and game clock are almost identical. Down to 5. And Allen will put it up. And misses that offensive board, though. And are they calling the foul, or end of the half.
I think one
They're still
side is a
talking
foul,
about it,
one
yeah.
side is in the half.
They're going to look at this.
It was pretty
Official
close
timeout.
from what
For
I could
review.
tell. It looked like the whistle
review the
might have
previous
beat the
play.
clock.
The
but
call on the
I've been
court
wrong
is
before.
no bad.
They're
No foul
probably
before the
checking
timer
not only
expired.
the clock, but the play on the floor as well.
Mhm.
Our officials today, Amy Bonner, she does a great job. She's done a number of games up here. Kevin Brill, we see him a lot, as well as Vern Harris.
Foul.
We'll get a
No
look at
basket.
this.
That's the end of the first half. Our score.
So he has the ball,
Oh, yeah.
and the whistle comes late. So that's it. So Utah State, Gary, they shoot 70% field goals to Air Force's 42. And what do you make of that?
Yeah. I mean, this is a tough place to play regardless of how the Aggies are shooting, but when they're shooting 70% from the field,
Yeah, wow.
I don't think there's a team that could beat them here. That's a number that I'm sure Air Force is going to discuss and find a way to try to get down in the second half.
And 10 three-pointers on the way to a 50-23 halftime lead. It's senior day here as the Aggies will honor 3 of their outgoing seniors after tonight's game. Right now, they're leading big. We'll head to our halftime festivities coming next here on KMYU TV locally and on the Mountain West Network. We are back here, 50 points for the Aggies at halftime. 4th time they've hit 50 and a half. First time in conference play. And Gary, you and I have called all of the previous 3. It was early in the season. The first 3 games they had 50-plus points.
Yeah, the way
Man.
that they were going then, it looked like they were going to put 50 on everybody or
Yeah.
at least
After
run up
those
the score.
first few, yeah, went over 100 all 3 of those games, and then in that Montana game, they scored 95, and here we go. Shot clock now inside 10 again. It's been this way the whole game for Air Force, and shot will go. 4 Aggies around that basketball for the rebound.
And Dexter Akano with an amazing box out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I would teach my kids to do it. Just get down and drive backwards.
Senior night here, and 3 of them are on the court. Ian Martinez, Dexter Akano, Aben Gadaretsi. You may be wondering, well, what about Dayton Albury and Drake Allen? They're both graduate players, but they each have a year of eligibility left. 3-pointer up does not go. Offensive board, though, for Gadaretsi. Martinez creates. And another offensive board for Gadaretsi, and this time up and in.
That was great. I mean, Gadaretsi being dominant on the boards, that's what we like to see from him, asserting his height out there against this smaller Air Force team.
Yeah, he's going toe-to-toe with Will Silahusky, who's a 7-footer, but he's a young one, sophomore only, doesn't play a ton, and we didn't see him as much in the first half. And another missed shot.
Yeah, and I
for Air
think
Force.
he's a big that likes to stretch well as he knocks Gadaretsi on the floor on that one.
Wow.
But he didn't seem to be, he's getting more physical now after those 2 offensive rebounds, but Gadaretsi was having his way with him to begin with.
Yeah, he had, 3 lobs?
Yes.
Ian Martinez right to the rack and throws it down.
He's such a patient basketball player. He just amazingly doesn't force things. It looks like he's forcing it, becomes more patient, and then finds his pockets and is able to convert.
You've referred to him many times as almost deceptive.
Yeah.
You don't.
He's a smooth
just kinda-
operator.
yeah, smooth operator. That's it. And then all of a sudden he just takes off, and you're
Yeah.
in trouble.
That's Ian's game for sure. Well, and he's got such an all-around game. He can shoot the ball. He can get into the paint. He's a fantastic defender. I mean, and he's you never really get too much emotion out of him. He's kind of just smooth, just like we talked about. And so that's a big loss for the Aggies this year to lose a player like Ian Martinez.
Also played at Maryland and the University of Utah. But 2 years here with the Aggies for the young man out of Costa Rica, and a foul to Dayton Albury. Fouls Jeffrey Mills. Jeffrey Mills, part of the 22 Raptors squadron, who will also be joining the Space Force after he graduates.
I got to do more research on that.
On the Space Force, check it out.
Yeah. Sounds too cool.
There was actually a comedy TV series about
Yeah, I
it.
remember
It was
that.
really funny.
I remember that.
Three-pointer up, and it rolls in for Ethan Taylor. Starred Steve Carell. I think it only made it one season, but it was really good.
Yeah.
Martinez. Oh, how about that move? And one.
See his patience down there, his footwork, and then his willingness to go up against the tall timber and take the contact and finish. He gets it, no shot opportunities. Finally, he's just willing to challenge and finish.
Drake Allen checks into the game. Albury will go to the bench. And Martinez converts the three-point play. Aggies showing that full court defense here, trying to create another turnover. They do. And that pass made by Will Cooper, he literally Chase Beasley cut right as he threw it, and it ends up going out of bounds.
I'm trying to understand the rationale at this point for a press, but I think probably just prepping for the rest of the postseason to try out things that they're going to need.
11 turnovers, fouled on a three, so Akano. You bring up a good point about you never know what's going to happen in the offseason, but I'm sure there are a number of things that Coach Calhoun will be targeting.
Yes, I mean
maybe more interior depth with losing Gattaretzi.
Yeah.
So 3 free throws coming for Dexter Akano, 76% free throw shooter. And Akano, he's played around a little bit. Marquette for a year, Oregon State 3 years, and finishing up here.
Yeah, and Akano bringing he's competed in some very good leagues. Martinez has competed in very good leagues, so they brought a lot of experience here, a lot of perspective for this Aggie team, and I think it's shown out.
Aggies have scored 16 points off 11 Air Force turnovers in this game. Akano now has 6 points. And more than doubled up the Falcons, 60-26. That ball saved, but Falcons keep it. I think they just reset the shot clock is what they did there.
They consider that a change of possession.
Yeah. Well, as we know, Air Force likes to use a lot of the shot clock, so that helps them out.
It's
quite a bit.
Amazing how much I played this game and never knew all of the rules. Or maybe
Really?
the rules just changed. Well,
They just told you to go out and dunk.
Yeah, that's right. Don't give me too complicated of instructions. Just keep it simple for me.
Well, like what's a rule that you may not have known?
That one.
Oh, the reset.
That is a change of possession.
Yeah. And again, they work the shot clock down to 5 seconds, and Allen commits the foul. So he fouls Ethan Taylor. Taylor had a really good game in their loss to the Aggies back in January. He had 18 points that night. They didn't win the game, but turnover, tried to go behind the back. Martinez has it, and Falslev will finish. Senior day has been a productive one for these Aggies, 62-26. And talk about a collision. Akano took the brunt of Silla Husky's 245-pound frame. And we'll take a timeout. When we come back, Tucker Anderson and Jordy Barnes will check back into the game. Aggies, 62 points already with a healthy lead. The Herd's loving it. Aggie faithful spending a little Saturday afternoon here. If the Aggies win this game, and they certainly appear to be well on their way, they will be the 3 seed in next week's Mountain West Conference tournament, which means they'll play the last game on Thursday.
And watching this Aggie defense, and it's amazing to see that the Aggies have made more shots than Air Force has even taken.
Oh, that is crazy. Made 23, they've taken 22.
And 16 of those 22 shots have been threes.
And here comes another one. And another miss, but an offensive rebound.
That's what they need.
And now working in the post, Silahusky against Carson Templin. And Templin commits the foul. And Silahusky will go to the free throw line.
This is hard. Templin stands ground. A little hook on that. It's hard to defend against when you get that player grabs that elbow around you. But hey, I think it's a great move. Sometimes refs call it, sometimes they don't. So you play it until they do.
Silahusky is 64% free throw shooter, and he converts.
Well, I like that with Air Force coming out and trying to establish something in the post to get them a better opportunity to put points on the board. Those threes, shooting 33%, shooting as many threes isn't quite getting it there for them.
I think the ref is might be resetting the game clock. And there we go. We were missing 3 seconds. Jordy Barnes with the basketball right now for the Aggies, the freshman out of Olympus High School in Salt Lake City. Oh, pass just a little wide for Falslev. And who gets the foul here? Okay, so, yeah, it'll be Mills. And the Aggies will keep the ball. Falslev went right to Jordy and explained to him where that pass needed to be.
He knows. Jordy usually delivers passes on a dime.
Very good, very good. He's got a bright future.
Yeah.
And another errant pass. So Barnes and Falslev, I mean, theoretically, if they stick around, will have 2 more seasons together in the Aggie backcourt.
And that pays huge dividends when you've played together for that long and have had that much experience together. That you can see a significant difference in teams that have had players like that.
So a Husky working in the post. He's on a little bit of a run.
Yeah, he's got some great footwork. I've been impressed with those 2 post moves. Carson needs to stay down on defense. Coach Morrow used to always tell us, if you played sound defense, if they score over the top of you, you just got to let that one go. But don't be leaving your feet.
I think Jared Calhoun's about to bring in Auburn Gadaretse to defend Silahusky. He's waiting to check in. Allen for 3, a little bit off, and Templin, offensive rebound, but they can't get it to finish. 62-31, exactly doubling up Air Force, and the drive and the layup a little too hard for Byron Brown. Here come the Aggies. Anderson 3, got it.
That's a good sign. I like to see Tucker be able to knock those down right from the beginning.
Nearly a 30% three-point shooter for a young man who's comes from deep basketball lineage, no doubt about it. His mom Sheila played at Tennessee for a pretty good coach by the name of Pat Summitt.
Yeah, fantastic coach.
His mother was on the first 2 Pat Summitt championship teams. The coach, of course, went on to win many more of them. So Gadaretse is back into the ball game, along with Ian Martinez, Dayton Albury, Jordy Barnes, and Tucker Anderson. Offensive rebound tipped out by Silahusky.
And that's what I love about this Falcon team. They even being down, they have played so hard. They played physical basketball. They're not They're staying composed. They're staying aggressive. They've shown a lot of tenacity in this second half.
And now Gatorezzi picks up the foul. So still Husky has really created some problems here. And now he's going to the free throw line because the Aggies have 17 fouls already. Air Force only has 3.
Well, that's exactly the thing that Air Force wants to do. They want to stop the clock, get to the line, put points on the board, and just keep prolonging this game.
The Herd has a chart over there where they keep track of the number of missed free throws in this building directly in front of them. This season, it's now at 55.
I wonder what that stat is comparison.
Well, it's among some of the best in the nation in terms of, you can call it, I mean, there's really no such thing as defense at the free throw line, but, free throw defense. This is a tough building to shoot free throws in.
I like that. The Herd should adopt that free throw defense.
Right. They are a knowledgeable bunch, as I found out not long ago, and somehow they managed to find a 40-year-old photo of me from the internet.
It's a group of private investigators.
Yeah, they're very good. Great atmosphere, always is in this building. This will be the last game in this building this season, no matter what, because next up will be the Mountain West Tournament in Las Vegas, and then, of course, the Aggies will await their NCAA tournament situation. And now the officials discussing again. I think they're discussing who gets the ball here.
Yeah, I thought they called a 5-second on Jordy's, and then there was a mix-up as to who the ball was going to go to after that.
There's Joe Scott in his second stint with the Air Force Academy. Coached him way back in 2001, then left for nearly a couple of decades, and he's back again. This is a long discussion the officials are having. Vern Harris, Amy Bonner, and Kevin Brill.
We're reviewing a previous play on the dead ball, possible flagrant foul.
Yeah, I don't know what the need for the long discussion is, but I already mentioned earlier I didn't know all the rules to basketball, so.
Well, you got to give Air Force credit. They go into every game. I'm sure they had a very audacious plan to beat the Aggies today, but
yeah, I mean, they haven't given up.
I guess you take some solace in the fact that your life is going to be devoted to, defending our freedoms, some important stuff after basketball. And you go to the Air Force because of the future that it offers you after.
Absolutely. Well, and I think the things that they're, outside of the normal day-to-day routine of classwork, the other things that they have responsibility for, it's probably hard to put things in perspective in terms of what basketball represents in the whole scheme of things, But it's sure fun to play and watch and be a part of and learn from. So I'm sure they have no problem getting out here and playing basketball.
So it appears the Aggies are keeping the basketball. Oh, no, they aren't. Air Force is just inbounding it from this end of the court. So after all that, still a 65-31 lead. Air Force will inbound, and here come the Falcons. They run an offense that uses an awful lot of the shot clock, and they're already down to 10 seconds. So Huskies getting double teamed now in the post. Drive 5-4. Albury blocked, but they're going to call foul. So they called Barnes with a foul, not on Albury. Take a look. Okay, yeah. So the 8th foul on the Aggies to only 3 for Air Force.
Yeah, and I was going to say they were calling it tight in that those first 2 fouls the Aggies picked up were, the blocking fouls. The refs decided to call it a little bit tighter in the second half. It was getting physical in the first half, so I think they probably had a discussion to call a little tighter, keep the game under control.
Kyle Marshall with another free throw, freshman out of Fullerton. His squadron is the 31 Grim Reapers. Don't know if I'd want to run into them.
All these names are.
Yeah. Tucker loses the ball. He's trying to twist back in against Caleb Walker, and he was having none of that.
Well, the Aggies have turned it over at least 2 or 3 times down the court, and they're taking their foot off the gas in terms of their discipline and execution that they displayed in the first half.
And they have done that in terms of what you're talking about, but they haven't in terms of the scoreboard.
Yeah, yes, that's true. I mean, they're still ahead.
You're so right.
But the points they're putting up were not the first half points.
Yeah. Anderson 3, yes. Tucker Anderson. And right back down the other way. That's an N1 as Jordy Barnes got stuck having to defend the 6'9" Caleb Walker and ends up having to foul him.
Yeah, and I think the Aggies just on that press, you can get out of position, and if you get past that first line of defense and keep pushing the ball, you get a 2-on-3 situation where the Air Force Falcons were able to finish.
(68-34), the Aggies very much in control of this ball game here, leading this series against Air Force 28-7 overall, but 14-0 in this building, and the way it's going, it looks like it's going to go on to a 15-0 record against the Falcons in the Spectrum, and that will send the Aggies, if this holds, there's still a lot of time left, but if this holds, to the Mountain West Conference Tournament as the 3 seed. There was for a long time, Gary, they were the 1 seed.
Yeah.
And that's now on New Mexico, and then Colorado State, the 2 so far. And the Aggies clinch the 3. Free throw not good for Walker, who's really struggled in that aspect of his game. He's only a 45% free throw shooter. He's actually a 67% three-point shooter, but he's only shot a few of them.
Yeah.
Barnes kick out 3 on the way. Martinez can't get it to go.
And Jordy's so good at being able to get in the lane and still find players on the perimeter. Found Ian for a wide open 3, and he doesn't miss many of those.
And Isaac came up with that turnover, and then he went down the other end, dribbled the ball off his foot. And I don't know what that is, but it didn't seem like a...
You can't do that in basketball. You can't jump in the
yeah.
air and then come down with the ball again, no matter what you do with it.
Refs let it go, and Tucker Anderson launches another 3. Kept alive. Barnes has it, and now they'll reset.
Yep. Isaac did a great job of keeping that ball alive.
And he'll reward him by dumping it into Isaac. Working on Walker, and Walker commits the foul this time. As Mason Falslev and Dexter Acano get set to check back in. Dexter Acano only needs 3 more points to go over 1,000 for his career. Oh boy, should I have said that?
Yeah, yeah, that could have jinxed it.
We were talking about a Mason Falslev potentially triple-double a couple of games ago, and he was well on the way. He ended up being like a rebound shy or something like that. Isaac Johnson turns, throws up the little mini hook, and it just rolls off.
I think that's a great shot for Isaac Johnson. Just not leaning away from contact, lean a little bit into contact, go up. That's a hard shot to stop.
Air Force, the customary running down of the shot clock. And they're now inside 10 once again. And the drive and up and in. How about that?
That was a great move.
A.J. Patterson coming off the bench. Aggie ball, it'll stay right here. Jordy Barnes go back to the bench, and Drake Allen will check in. Transfer from UVU. Prior to that, he played at Southern Utah. Has another year of eligibility, so presumably, if he so desires, will be back in Aggie uniform next year. Wide open underneath. And the former football player hauls in the pass and scores. Traveling.
Well, I think that's why it's such an interesting look to have Isaac Johnson out there on the floor on defense with the zone that the Aggies put together, is because he's so long that putting him out on the perimeter kind of throws the perimeter players off.
Yeah.
He's able to get to things and get his hand in faces that generally people don't see.
Boy, Allen slipped a couple of times. Might need to get the broom out here on the court. Martinez three. And that's kept alive by a great move from Dexter Akano. Akano sets a great screen for Johnson, but he is long. And boy, he knew it running back down court. He was like, whoa. 9 minutes to play now on senior day here for the Aggies. Following this game, they will honor the 3 outgoing seniors. And a turnover to Air Force. Been
Air
really
Force
sloppy the last few possessions.
Agreed. And Air Force has made a couple of those passes tonight where the defense is kind of thrown off. They've cut and weren't expecting the player to cut, thrown it out of bounds.
Right. That's resulted in 4 turnovers in their last 5 possessions. Oh, Akano. Oh. And how about the offensive rebound? Batted around Akano. Can't get it to fall.
But the fact that the Aggies keep battling, Akano comes up the first one, Mason comes up with one, Johnson comes up, and then Akano's finally able to come up and put the ball, at least draw the foul.
He needs 3 more points, but I think the fans think he only needs
one more.
One.
Well, he keeps them in suspense.
Yes, he does. Silahusky checks back into the game for Air Force. And Akano gets another. And Akano now has 8.
So he needs 1 or 2 more for 1,000.
2 more.
Okay.
Wait, he has 8, right? No, he only needs 1 more.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, he does have 7. My mistake.
Oh, the scoreboard.
The scoreboard is
throwing it off.
Doesn't just throwing it off a little bit. He has 6. He has 7 points. 2 more puts him at 1,000 for his career. I think the fans may know that because after he hit that free throw, they were holding up 2.
Oh, okay.
But if not, you run up there and correct them, will you? Shot clock at 1. That shot clock has been one of the Aggies' best friend.
Absolutely.
Offensive foul on the freshman, Isaac Davis. And we talk about the game being a little sloppy. Utah State has missed 8 of their last 9 shots and the last 5 in a row. So things just getting a little messy, but the Aggies up a bunch, leading 71-36 here on Senior Day in Logan. Back here in Logan, 71-36. Aggies nearly doubling up the Air Force Academy in the final regular season game for both teams. Next week, everyone convenes in Las Vegas. Tournament time's always a lot of fun. Some coaches don't love it, but it's a grind. You know that. You got to, to win it. If you're not seeded, you'd have to win 4 in a row. If you are, you'd have to win still 3 in a row.
Absolutely.
And 3 days in a row.
And I think that's the point. Is just
right.
Day after day, it becomes that much more difficult.
That's the tough part.
Well, I remember when we won the tournament when I was my senior year, we had to beat Fresno State, which was a tough game. Then we barely beat New Mexico State on a game winner from Tyler Newbold. And then we had Nevada, it was at Nevada's home. So it was just a tough 3 days. And every day you're just worn out.
Yeah, it is definitely. Now, a lot of cases, depending on how quality of a team you are, the tournament doesn't often mean that much as Isaac Davis, the freshman, scores in terms of your NCAA ability to get there and that kind of thing. But it's the only path for a lot of teams that play in these tournaments.
Absolutely. And when I was playing that, there was even a question. We had such a fantastic season that whether we would even make it if we didn't win the tournament.
Yeah.
So for us, we played like we had to do it to go to the NCAA tournament.
Exactly. And a lot of teams are in that position. Air Force has now got 5 turnovers in their last 7 possessions, 17 total, and in that case just missed the shot. But it seems like the Aggies, things have been a little sloppy at the other end too, Gary. So
yeah, the turnovers, and that's what I said, coming out in that second half, Air Force has done a better job at turning these Aggies over. They've changed their defensive scheme and made the Aggies take shots that they weren't getting in the first half. So kudos to Air Force on that, but both sides have turned the ball over much more.
Fall slip, tough defense. And that ball goes out of bounds, and it goes to the Aggies at another turnover. So now 6 Air Force turnovers on their last 8 possessions. And, of course, credit the Aggie defense for creating all of that. Falslev, 3, yes! Mason Falslev.
When he catches and shoots, he's a very consistent shooter.
Falslev with 18 points, and the Aggies now on an 8-0 run. What a game it has been for Mason. 8 of 10 on his field goals. He's shooting well.
Not to mention his interior passing, his defense. He's a jack of all trades.
Everything. Playing defense right there. Had that hand up. Offensive rebound, though, for Air Force. 40-point Aggie lead, 5.5 to play.
Yeah, so Isaac Davis. I mean, that's a big body to try to take care of. You can't put both arms as a defender on your player's back. You just got to kind of hold that one arm bar and try to hold him off that way.
Mason Falslev checking out of the game. This is how deep the Aggie press release goes before a game. He's shooting too. Falslev, one of 3 players in the entire nation, get this, to average 14 points, 6 rebounds, at least 3.5 assists, and 2 steals.
A walking stat line.
Yeah, that's deep right there. But it just shows you how versatile he is and how much work he gets done.
Yes. Well, and I've said this whole season that when a shot goes up, that's when Mason starts to play. And that's what creates havoc for defenders because he's just got a motor that keeps going.
Akano step back 3, got it. That's it. He goes over 1,000 points for his career. The fans love it.
I bet he loves to do it on that shot too. That was just a tough 3, but those are the shots he's made all year long. So congratulations to Dexter on that. That's a great accomplishment.
He does it on senior day. Big smile on his face. Good for him. Boy, you're right. That was a tough shot. He was pretty well defended.
Air Force just keeps battling for rebounds, battling to stay in with it. They're playing with a lot of heart.
That pass corralled and the three-pointer up and just misses for Will Cooper. He started this game really hot.
Well, Dexter's three seems about a lot more energy into the building, at least.
Well, the fans know. They knew that he was looking to get over 1,000 points for his career. Oh, Isaac Davis.
And he's such a strong force down there. I mean, and he's so athletic to take contact. Those are things that I was excited about when Isaac signed here, was his ability just to move people on the block and finish like that. So I think there's more to come of that as he's such a young player. As he gets more experience and gets more time on the floor, he's gonna do some good things.
Very highly recruited young man. As Dexter ran all the way back to the herd, gave him a bunch of high fives.
Yeah, I think he's pretty happy about that. That's a great accomplishment for him.
Especially when it's his last game here.
Yes.
He still had plenty of more games
sure
to play than he would have done it, but to do it here in front of his home crowd, a 14-1 run now for the Aggies in the last 6 minutes. Another turnover. Albury. Isaac. Oh boy, he was fouled.
Oh, and they're going to call a flagrant on this.
They are. So 2 shots and the ball.
I could see Isaac's eyes light up as he saw that was a possibility. Yeah, and there was no play on the ball there.
He thought he might have a throwdown, which would have lit up this crowd, but at any rate, the Aggies leading comfortably here on KMYU TV locally and the Mountain West Network. 3:44 to play here, and the last field goal for Air Force was at the 10-12 mark. 10-12, and they've only taken 5 shots since then, so the Aggie defense not slowing down.
Yeah, and I think kudos the Aggies to keep the Falcons outside the paint. They've just done a phenomenal job pressuring them, forcing them to take hard three-point shots.
So after the breakaway foul there, Davis gets 2 free throws, and the Aggies get the ball. Converts them both. Just a freshman. Didn't get a lot of minutes this year, but you could see that definitely going up next season.
Absolutely. He is a big body. He's talented. He's got good footwork. Just being able to buy in, understand the system, understand what the expectation is, and then follow through, which is easier said than done.
Aggie fans are cheering, "We want ice cream," but I don't think they do that ice cream thing
I haven't
anymore.
seen that. At least I haven't got any free ice cream.
Tournament time is going to be very interesting for the Aggies because you never know what you're going to get when you get to that point of the season.
Yeah, and all of these teams were so closely matched. It wasn't like any one team's going to just run away with it. There's a lot of unknowns heading into the tournament, like you said.
New Mexico has played the Aggies obviously really well. They've had some great games with San Diego State. They split with Colorado State, and the last one did not end well. So you never know. Abin Gadaretsi, one of the seniors, checking out now is Jackson Smith out of Bountiful, Utah, will check in.
Yeah, and Jackson got some good minutes against San Jose State. I remember he put up made a three, and
Akano wants more. And can't get that fall. Akano and Martinez, the 2 other seniors who will be honored after this game, still in the game. I'm going to assume that Coach Calhoun is going to get them out so they can get a big applause from this terrific home crowd. Shot clock down to 7. Shot goes up. And that ball tipped right from Isaac Davis right into the awaiting hands of Ian Martinez. Martinez with 14. He was laughing after he missed that one.
That's a heat check.
Yeah,
That's a senior night shot, you know.
exactly. And one as Yoda Aki hits the shot. Jordy Barnes getting set to check in. That's the first field goal, by the way, Air Force has made since that 10-12 mark. So he's checking in for Dayton Albury.
Well, I liked Air Force's post looks they got. I think that's something they could focus on moving forward. They have their bigs were skilled and talented down there, finding players and being able to finish. So that, I think, might be something that'd be a benefit to them.
Tucker Anderson will check in, and now it'll be an applause for Dexter Acano. And Acano goes over 1,000 points for his career, playing at Marquette, Oregon State, and here at Utah State. Deep three for Jackson Smith does not go. Acano's actually from Valencia, California. And now, let's hear it for Ian Martinez, and the crowd will let him hear it.
Yeah. So Ian worked my basketball. Ty Wesley and I do a basketball camp every summer. Ian and Mason came and worked out with us. He's such a good guy. He so down to earth, so low key, working with the kids. I mean, he's just a fantastic guy. I can't say enough good things about him. I know he's going to have a bright future in basketball, and I just think the world of him as a player and as a person.
As a person, yeah. Just a great guy. You can hear from these fans, they love all these teams. Well, they love the whole team. It's just great support for the Aggies. And as I mentioned, they're actually just started spring break, and still a great crowd in the herd, the student section.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of them will make their spring break the tournament.
Yeah, why not? Spend it in Vegas?
Yeah, not bad.
Air Force still fighting. Oh, my goodness, they hit that one as the shot clock buzzer went off. It's kind of the way it's gone for Air Force tonight.
Yeah.
And Aggies still doubling up the Falcons. About a minute to go. This is our 21st game over 2 years. It's been a lot of fun, Gary.
It has been a fantastic time. You make the job easy, Dave.
Well, so do you. All I have to do is set the table.
It's been a
you
lot
got
of
to clean
fun.
it off.
Yeah.
The drive and the layup, but looking forward to seeing what the schedule looks like next year.
Absolutely.
Have more of these games on locally on KMYU and streaming as well. Jackson Smith comes in and hits a three.
His teammates get excited for him. He works hard. He deserves good things like that to happen. Good for him.
A rare shot inside 10 of the shot clock. And it actually goes for Will Cooper, but that's going to do it. Air Force actually finishes this game on a little 10-3 run. It's their first run of the game. But the important thing is it's another big win for the Aggies. And they're going to head to the Mountain West Conference Tournament as at least a 3 seed. 87-47, a 40-point victory for the Aggies.
Yeah, it was a fantastic fight on both ends. Air Force never gave up. They still played with a lot of heart. And that's what you love to see when you come out, and the Aggies just played phenomenal basketball. They came out with a 40-point win.
5th wire-to-wire win this season for the Aggies, and the 3rd in conference play. They also led start to finish at Fresno State and here against Colorado State. So a nice way to finish it. And, yeah, now you know all about tournament time, and it's time to focus up and get down to Las Vegas and play at least 3 solid nights of basketball, and then you never know what might happen.
Absolutely, and I think the Aggies got a good shot at the tournament, regardless of what happens in this next week. But they've been a fantastic team to watch this regular season, and excited for their future heading out.
Well, Gary, it's been a lot of fun this season. Aggies will keep going, and we'll do this all again next year. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And for our entire broadcast crew, they do a great job. Tyson Ewing on stats. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of Aggie basketball tonight here on KMYU and on the Mountain West Network. Good night, everyone.